Hello and welcome to Unprofessional Engineering. My name is James.
And you got Luke.
And Luke, we have our 100th episode spectacular.
I know, this is so, mind-blowing to me.
Mind-boggling.
Mind-boggle? Yeah, it's something.
Isn't it Anchorman? Mind-boggling?
I think so.
Jimbo, that's one for the list. Okay. Pretty excited about this.
Very excited.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, so I came in at episode 30. So
30 or 31? I think maybe after 30.
No, it was 30
because
it's actually in my list.
Oh, okay.
But I feel like I kind of wish I would have been there early, but I'm just very excited that you invited me to participate whenever your co-host ditched you.
He flat out ditched me.
Yeah,
it hurt.
When he ditched you 70 episodes ago.
Hurt.
So.
But it's all good.
Yeah.
We're rolling hard. We're bigger and better than ever. And I think we're pretty close to being rich and famous. Hey man, the reviews keep pouring in.
They do. We're up to like 40.
We're up to like 50.
Oh,
yeah.
They are rolling.
And we're getting a lot of fan mail lately. It's keeping me busy.
Okay.
Well, anyways, a little bit about the show. I thought it would be fun for us to run through what we actually think are the top 10 episodes of all time. And of course, what's the other half?
The worst.
You're the worst episodes. And then a little bit of what actually is the top and bottom.
Based off listener numbers,
Based off of listener numbers, which is really interesting. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. And
probably not what we would think, right?
Right.
Okay.
And of course, we need to go back in time a little bit and talk about things we've gotten wrong throughout the episodes.
There can't be more than one or two things.
I'm not even sure what they tell us we got wrong is actually incorrect.
They could be wrong themselves.
They probably are, because look at us.
Yeah.
We're pretty smart.
I agree.
Then some highlights of the show, and then a little bit about future looking. How about that?
Okay, sounds good.
People we'd interview, picking episodes, things like that.
So we're going to give people an inside look at the brainstorming strategy that occurs when you and I pick episode topics.
They're all the inside now.
Nice.
Okay. So let's get started with our top 10.
Okay.
Starting with number 10.
And
Where did you go?
So, we're going to go backwards.
Oh, and we're going to rank this, yeah.
Okay. So my number 10 was Construction of the Statue of Liberty. And I'm saying that because it was super interesting. I knew none of the detail. It was educational. It was historical. You've kind of helped me start to love history through this show.
I'm glad I've done that.
I really appreciate that. And it's kind of patriotic, right? So that's my number 10 is Construction of the Statue of Liberty.
I really enjoyed that, and we did it at the same time as the Eiffel Tower. Mm-hmm. So those, and unknowingly, they matched up very well.
The same cat made both.
Same cat made both. I see you actually have 11 listed, so that's kind of funny.
Well, I have an honorable mention.
I have 4 or 5 honorable mentions as well. So my number 10 I have is Viking ships.
Ooh.
And I know this was...
Pre-Luke.
Yeah, I was going to say PL, but it was a pretty cool one. And I don't even know if it was that great of an episode, like there was that many funny things or anything, but just the idea that a Viking hung out with literally an axe and built a ship that they could sail in the sea just still blows my mind. And all the cool information about it, the history of boat building, how the Europeans sailed to China and got the sail idea, the Venetian sails there. Just a lot of cool information.
I could see that maybe moving up. I haven't listened to all the early episodes before me. I've listened to, of the 30 that I missed, I've probably listened to half of them.
I remember you would, you'd make fun of me sometimes on them.
I would.
I appreciate it. Number 9, what do you think? Do you want me to do not my 9 or you?
No, we'll keep the...
Okay.
So my number 9 is Crazy Flat Earthers. And this was just such a fun one to do because it's kind of crazy. And I know we're going to get dogged on this one because we got some hate mail and some hate notes via our YouTube channel. But the fact that people believe... in a fair amount, there's a whole community out there.
Kyrie Irving.
It's not one guy. Believe that the Earth is flat is absolutely mind-boggling, and the things that they believe, there's 100-foot ice wall. I mean, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
It's really awesome, and that we actually got someone writing in chastising us for our beliefs of having a round Earth was great as well.
So that's my 9.
That's a good one. And I don't want to ruin any of our surprise of the actual top episodes. This one is not in it, but it is surprisingly close.
It's one of my favorites.
So people must have really enjoyed that one
Your number 9.
Crazy World War II technology.
That didn't make it in mine.
No, well, that's okay.
You like the histories.
I love the histories, but there's different reasons for this. So first off, the stuff's crazy. Second off, the technology, like the rockets and everything else, really drove a lot of the other great technology, and it was interesting to hear that. And third, you straight up got asked to go do more professional work after that episode. And I feel like if that's happening, it must have been okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I must have been terrible, and you must have been really good.
No, but I remember whenever I got so someone hit me up on Facebook and asked if I would be on-screen talent for like a BBC documentary about World War II technology and equipment. And I remember whenever I got it, I was like, oh, did you want James too? And I felt so guilty whenever
they were like,
I asked you. So
I thought that was a cool thing, though.
yeah, but the guy, it ended up not happening, and the guy never really got
We
back
hate him
to me,
anyways.
so.
Okay.
Well, no, it might come back, so don't say that.
We still love him,
Yeah,
but
we
I
do.
can hate him.
We do.
Go ahead. Number 8.
Number 8. So my 7 and 8 go together.
You can't do that.
Yeah, I am.
I do that for a couple.
My 7 and 8 are together. So this is How It's Made Toys, Part 1 and Part 2. This was so nice because a lot of it was like reminiscent of childhood. It was stuff that I played with as a kid. I just love those 2 episodes. I almost made it into the top 5, but they were my 7 and 8.
That's a great pick. I like it. I think
Not in
as
your
we
top
go,
10?
well, I didn't want to ruin where that's at on mine.
Okay.
It's certainly on my list somewhere here.
Okay.
Basically, if it has to do with history, like hardcore history or toys, it's
in.
on my list.
I gotcha.
Because I loved those episodes. My number 8 is the Hoover Dam. And again, pre-Luke, I'm sorry, but this one's really cool. The Hoover Dam's an amazing thing. The cement or the concrete still curing, like the systems they had to set up. Are there dead bodies in the walls?
Yeah.
Like, it was really interesting.
So that is in my honorable mention.
Okay, very good. I'm putting that one down here.
So let's do your number 7 as well. So
My
stay
number
in
7,
sync.
okay. So this one's a little different than what you just mentioned, but in the same vein, the top 10 toys that made you an engineer. Not counting Lego, because you have to put that little asterisk in there. It's like Barry Bonds going into the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
He was on the juice just like Legos are.
He's on the juice.
So I loved that episode.
Totally.
And we probably got more write-in information about that, like people talking about erector sets and the different toys they loved. And probably half the people said, you missed Lego. And we flat out said from the start, that doesn't count.
Did you listen to the episode?
Yeah. So I really loved that
I
one,
like
too.
that one. That's good. Okay, my number 6. I'm really surprised this didn't make it up higher for me, but this really took like a lot of mental effort to score these.
Okay.
This was my top 10 movies with great engineering.
Really?
And the reason why this was here is because you brought up the robot that Paulie had from the Rocky movie. It was one of the stupidest movie references possibly of all time on any podcast. Just saying. Oh my goodness. When you went there, like I had no idea where you were going. I was like
Rocky? You mean the guy that punches other people?
And then I remembered the stupid robot by the pool serving Paulie. It was
because they were rich then. Yeah. Man.
That's my number 6 because of your stupid
and that I threw
Rocky robot.
I threw Pee Wee Herman in there with his breakfast making machine, which was epic as well.
Very epic.
Oh, that was a good one. That was a fun one.
It was
we'll
a
go
very
with that.
fun one.
Maybe not good, but definitely fun. My number 6 is amazing yet obsolete technology.
Oh, you know what? That would be in my honorable mention if I would have given this a little more thought. I think.
At least you're sticking to what you know.
Yeah.
So I liked that one because it's really amazing to see these great things that were created, and then some of them, a decade later, even though it was crazy technology, absolutely useless.
Yep.
And it kind of makes you look back and think a little bit.
Now, it makes you, for me, I feel like if you and I are still doing this in 10 years, which
we probably won't be because we'll have so much money
we'll
by
be
then.
living on an island that we own.
We might just own an island together and meet once a week to a podcast. Yeah.
Okay. The reason why I think it would be interesting if we came back and revisited that one just for fun in like 10 years, because do you think that the pace of technology,
Oh, yeah.
obsolete inventions are going to happen sooner? Like I saw something the other day about like iPods, like there's
yeah.
an iPod that that was a U2 special edition that had signatures and a red dial. If it's still in the case, it's like $20,000. And
Yeah.
it's totally obsolete.
That's so stupid. In 10 years, they're going to have on the list podcasts. Things that are now obsolete. Can you believe you used to listen to people talk about stuff?
Well,
Yeah.
okay, my number 5.
This is a great like summary episode for everyone.
Very summary.
Man, you guys should go back and listen to all these.
Oh my goodness, I definitely would. I'd listen to all of them and catch up if this is
yeah.
the first time you're listening. Okay, my number 5. So this was, it had to be in my top 10. This was the top 10 inventions of all time. I felt like you and I went 2 totally different directions on this one.
Yeah.
Like big time.
I'm glad we threw in that fire is not an invention, it was a discovery. And even though we had people write in and tell us that you missed fire. But you're right, we went in totally different directions.
Totally different. So
And had a great fight about it.
I thought so too. So I really, really like that one.
Yeah, I, for my number 5, have the top 10 inventions of all time.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Pow, high
Yeah,
five.
so
Sweet.
apparently I agree.
We are
that
in
was a
sync.
great one.
I
Boy,
really
some of
enjoyed
those
that one.
inventions. Think about the wheel. Where would we be?
I feel
without
like
it?
that was one of the first top 10s we did too.
Yeah, I love the top 10s.
Yeah, because that one was episode 62, and I don't or 37. I don't remember.
Oh, you wrote
doing,
down which ones they were.
Yeah,
Look at that.
I don't remember doing too many top 10s because that was only my 7th episode.
I bet it was then. I bet that's the first top 10.
My number 4. This one was just fun because we pulled in one of our co-workers on this one. We got to make stuff. So this was our Pinewood Derby. And basically what we did, if you missed the episode, check it out. The 3 of us, yourself, Jeff, and I, we actually made pine cars. We raced them on an official pine car track. And I lost.
Who won, though?
Jeff did. Because
I
he
won
cheated and did
sometimes.
some kind of high weight, and he machined stuff.
Yeah, he did
But I thought that was fun because we made stuff.
Your car looked the best.
Oh, my car was, because I 3D printed it.
3D
and-
printed, you Star Wars.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. My car looked the best, but I think Jeff really took advantage of all like those Pinewood Derby techniques.
Cheating.
So,
yeah.
cheating.
I actually have more information about that one later on in the episode. My number 4. Engineering the Great Pyramid, Great Wall, and Colosseum.
Didn't make it for me.
Well, you're wrong. I just loved it. I thought it was amazing to talk
Yeah.
about, again, history, right?
Yeah, you're a
But
big
how did
history
they go
buff.
about doing that? It still
Aliens.
just blows my mind.
I still go with aliens.
Well,
I'm
that
sticking
mostly
to
comes
it.
down to that, but I loved that one. Number 3?
3 for me. This was one of my early episodes. I had I just came back from Hershey, PA, and did something about like coffee beans and cocoa beans and chocolate and that process. So, and I just love coffee. So this
do.
is episode 32. Wow, I can't even say this. You drink how much coffee was the name of the episode.
You know, I proclaimed to drink 10 cups of coffee a day in that episode, and I've now cut back to 6.
Nice. I do 1.
You do 1.
I do 1. And it's a normal size cup too, but I like that one because it was a little bit of history. It was a little bit how it's made. There was some geography thrown in, and it was early on, so I put a lot more effort into that.
It was also a topic from one of our super fans that I'll give a shout out to later.
Nice. I like that one.
Yeah, I liked that one as well. And I've known you a long time now, and I know you're kind of a snob, but that's when I really started getting the depth of
my snobbiness.
like Luke will throw Folgers at you and then kick you out of his house if
Yeah.
that's how you roll.
Exactly.
Yeah. So my number 3 is, and I know you're not going to mention this one.
Here we go.
Terraforming Mars. What an epic topic that is.
Epic?
Oh my
Really?
goodness. Just think NASA's like, yeah, we got a 30-year plan. Elon's like, give me another month or 2. I'm there.
Well,
Then the ideas to change it, like bombing the planet and it's just craziness.
so the thing I liked about that one was we went with the Venus.
then the Venus one afterwards.
The Venus one
Venus
afterwards.
Cloud Cities.
So that one I did like. These didn't make it in my top 10. Neither one, but the Venus one I thought was more interesting than Mars.
Let's hear number 2.
Although Mars was nice because I got to watch the movie Total Recall like 3 different times. It was awesome. Drum roll for my number 2. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. The top 10 toys that made you want to be an engineer. This was, so you and I definitely agreed. So this was higher up. Again, a lot of nostalgia here. I really enjoyed this one, especially the Etch-a-Sketch piece. I thought that was pretty good.
Okay, very good.
So
I like that. My number 2, How Toys Are Made, Part 1 and 2.
Whoa, so we're
I
kind of in
smashed them
sync. We're
together.
kind of in sync on the toys.
Yeah, I liked those. They were both amazing. Talking about the injection molding process, talking about the stuff you find inside Stretch Armstrong, Super Soakers, and the one that got outlawed because it was just too powerful.
Yeah.
Those were really amazing. And I would say that I feel like Part 3 should show up maybe around Christmas time or something.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I loved those. Okay, let me hear your number 1.
My number 1, and this one is, it's not the best. It's actually probably one of the worst. But I have to say it. My number 1 is whenever James was kind enough to invite me on for the first time. This is my very first episode, episode 30. This is Lifted Trucks. I felt like I was excited. I did a ton of research. You know, like I spent like an hour and a half, 2 hours on this, where like my usual research is about 15 minutes before you show up. So I think it was just nice because it was the very first one. I was nervous. You and I are really good friends. Like in a top 10 list of friends, you're definitely on the top half. I don't mean to make you cry, but I was nervous about like our banter.
Yeah.
And it was like instantaneously we had this really good banter on the very first episode. Never rehearsed, never talked about it. It's funny, kind of a little side story before you do your last one, is when James and I are discussing our topics and we start to get into it, we're both like, stop, save it.
Yeah, don't tell me what you're thinking because that's our gold.
Yeah, and because like we did that once,
Yeah.
where we had to redo an episode, and the episode was so flat.
Which one was that? I can't remember.
It's whenever I didn't hit the record
Yeah,
button.
that was not
I
good.
can't remember.
I can't remember either, and we were really disappointed.
But yeah, because the first one was good. Second one was all kind of
Because you try and like relive what you just said. Remember when it was really funny last time?
so
Not so much.
So I love the banter and the connection we have, and that was the first one, and it was my favorite.
Okay, so I want to give you a couple honorable mentions before I get to number 1.
Okay.
I threw in Carney Games, which wasn't super good at all,
my goodness
but the way they shyster you is really funny. Plus, it's named Carney Games, so that makes me laugh.
Okay.
Smokers, I liked because it got me a smoker.
Wasn't that your first episode?
Yeah, this whole podcast was really just a way for me to spend time researching stuff that I wanted to buy.
Okay.
And so that worked out well.
I get that.
13, I said cyborg animals, and that's just to kind of prod you a little bit.
Yeah.
And then number 14, I put in top engineering schools and degrees.
That's in one of my honorable mentions, too.
I loved that mostly because we were at MIT and mostly because it made me feel bad about myself.
And the degree that you have.
Right, basically. But my number 1, and I know you didn't mention this, and I'm a little surprised. I lumped together all of the medieval torture devices, castle constructions, and combat weapons. And I mean, you know what a medieval nerdy guy
See,
I am.
I liked those.
You should see my D&D quest coming up on Friday. What?
But you kind of had that in the queue ready to go. So I don't feel like I didn't really participate in the selection process of that. So I felt like those topics were thrust upon me.
Wow.
And
thrust upon you. Okay.
I mean, they were good. I liked them, but a little dark.
Okay. They were a little dark.
Yeah,
okay, let's try and grab a few of these that we're going to have as our official top 10 for the blog. So we have How It's Made Toys 1 and 2, the top 10 toys of all time, and the top 10 inventions of all time. What else do you think over here is a good look?
I'm going to say...
I would like to include, at least towards the bottom, medieval stuff.
Okay.
I'm thrusting that upon you.
I feel like the Pinewood Derby's pretty good.
Pinewood Derby, really?
Flat Earthers.
Ugh, we're not doing that one. Flat Earther. Okay, Flat Earthers
You're
I can
okay?
live with.
I'm okay with Hoover Dam.
Hoover Dam.
Yeah.
We can have in there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I'm gonna say coffee. Did you like coffee
I like
or
coffee.
no?
That was a really good. That was a really
Especially since you
one.
like coffee
I
too.
do love it. Obsolete tech.
Yeah, I'm okay with that one. I think engineering movies. As much as we mention movies, we kind of have to.
You mention movies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay,
one more. You
left.
pick.
No, maybe the Statue of Liberty. Not World War II. So I'm between terraforming Mars and engineering the wall, Colosseum, and all that.
I'm going to go terraforming.
Okay, I think that's our most scientific
Okay.
one. All right, top 10. Okay, so moving on. Boy, that was delightful.
It was.
How about you're the worst?
Yeah, so You're the Worst is obviously our bottom 10.
Before we get into them, maybe we should say anyone listening, especially to our super fans that have been out there this whole
Yeah.
time listening, let us know what you thought our top episode or top few were and the worst.
And by super fan, we mean James's mom and his aunt and
Yeah.
his mom's other Gmail account.
Right.
So that's what we mean by super fan.
I did get an email one time that I wrote back like, "Oh, it must be nice that my mom paid you to say this," and she did say like, "Oh yeah, your mom did do that." And I was like, "Oh, that hurts."
How nice.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you mentioned Carney Games
I know.
in your honorable mention.
Or is this your number one worst? You're not going to do it backwards?
I'll do it backwards, but spoiler alert, Carney Games is my absolute most unfavorite. Spoiler alert. So let's start with my number 10. Medical Imaging Technology, episode 58 is my number 10. Reason being, I felt so stupid
Oh my gosh.
at the end of this one because it was way, way beyond any engineering and technology that I could actually understand other than reading what I copied from Wikipedia.
That one's going to make our top 10 final list, even though I didn't put it there. And I didn't put it on there because I was ashamed of how dumb it made me feel.
it
So I
was-
thought if I mentioned it, people would really know that I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah,
My
that's
number 10, jacked up trucks. Although I loved our time together, it was jacked up trucks.
It wasn't. You didn't find the nostalgia piece
Well,
of it.
that part helps, yes.
This is definitely not on the worst because if it's in my
Yeah,
number
that's fair,
one and
that's
you're
fair.
10, it can't
Well,
be
then
there.
Carney's was, oh no, Carney's was an honorable mention. Okay, number 9. My number 9, let me go first. Gas versus electric, our number 2.
Ooh.
It was okay, but I just don't think it really had the meat to it that I wanted. And that's saying something because, well,
The other thing too about the gas versus electric is I think that's one of those topics that's been discussed so much in the media that kind of everybody knew what we were talking about. We really weren't repeating things that you didn't see on the news or wasn't really apparent. You know, gas is bad for the earth. Batteries are better. You know,
Right.
Electric doesn't get you very far, but gas does. So I don't think that didn't feel like it was revealing anything to me. Like we've said this before, the things that we're telling people and the things we talk about on our podcast, this is those things that are make you feel smart at the next family function.
Right.
Where you'd be like, did you know that the Statue of Liberty, that the U.S. had to build the base and the French had to ship
Right.
it in 275 pieces?
versus I like electric.
Yeah, like I feel like a lot of our episodes make you feel and look smart, but that one was like, I kind of knew that.
And that, I think you're right, though. I think that's the best thing about this podcast is that it makes you look and feel smart, even though you're not.
Yeah.
Right?
Like if there was like Jeopardy for like less smart people than the regular Jeopardy show, we could totally win it.
Like not the college one, but if there's one with like even younger kids, maybe maybe that one.
Okay.
Your
My
number
number
nine.
9. So this is Everything Engines, and this was
Oh,
again. I think we got dogged on because of this one. We had some folks, and I'm totally underqualified to talk about engines. I mean, I know how they work basically, but I felt like there's so many more people out there that are better qualified that this one felt like a bit of a stretch. Even with the research, it felt like a stretch.
Whenever we go cars, I'm just not going to be real good at that.
Yeah.
Like I push the little thing, it goes faster. Sometimes I put gas in it, sometimes I don't, and that's not good.
And when it makes a
And-
noise, I take it to someone else to fix it.
Right. So, yeah, I'm not really able to talk about it. My number 8. What's your number 8?
My number 8 is electric cars.
Oh, okay.
So we're on the same page with electric cars.
Electric cars. Yeah, that was
Episode
okay.
39.
I think it seems like it's a cooler topic than it is, and it maybe the tech's just not there yet.
Yeah.
But that's fine. My number
8.
8. Oh, this one was terrible. Deep sea exploration.
That's my. Oh, I'm gonna jump ahead. That's my number 7.
Oh,
it
that's
was
your
just.
number
It
7?
was the
Okay.
worst.
Yeah, it was no good. And the bad part is we did that one at Tech Shop Pittsburgh, which is now
We did. Oh, that's right.
out of business, which is unfortunate for all of our maker friends.
Yeah.
But it was just such a bad topic. Too.
And-
it seems cool.
The fact that James Cameron, the director of Avatar, was the person that's gone the deepest in the ocean.
Titanic. Yeah, that's so lame.
It's like why him?
And then like the next guy did it when he like 300 years ago or something stupid. Like I hate that.
So we're totally in agreement. So that's my number 7. You're
my
number
7, shipping containers.
This one fell right in the middle for me for all of it. So it's not on either list.
Okay, I mean it's fine, but it's like okay, you can make houses out of them. What else?
Pools.
That's about it. You make a pool. This is how they get shipped. This is how they get tied down. Yeah, it wasn't a real success.
Yeah, I didn't think it was either.
How about number 6?
So this is where I start the dog.
This is just dog on
Dave. This is like the pre-Luke. It's not dog on Dave, but winter tires. Really?
Oh, yeah. Winter tires.
You totally forgot about that one, didn't you?
Winter tires is number 2 on my list. That is just a bad one.
I
just advertised it the other day
so
on Facebook for people to listen to, and I know it got a few more listens when I put it up there, but man, not good.
Yeah.
And you know how hard it is sometimes for us to pick topics, and I think that's kind of where that one fell.
You guys had a bad topic
had
selection.
A bad stretch right there. Number 5 for me, I put down supercars. And I put down supercars for a number of reasons.
Okay.
I don't know anything about cars.
Okay.
I still don't really know what makes them supercars other than they're expensive, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And we got dogged on by people all the time on that one.
Yeah, because it's so opinionated.
Especially Clark.
Too. It's very
Clark's
opinionated.
Such a jerk. Yeah.
I got to meet this Clark.
Yeah. Maybe.
We should interview him and have him.
You know what's terrible now that you mention that? So we just did the steel making episode.
Okay.
Clark worked at ATI for like a decade. He would have been perfect for that.
Why didn't we have him?
I know.
On?
Yeah. Sorry, Clark. All right. Did you have a number 5?
I did. This was gas versus electric lawn equipment.
Yeah, we did that one at number 9. Okay, so we both agree that one's stinky.
Yep.
Okay, that's good. How about your number 4?
My number 4 is, again, I'm dogging on you guys a bit, breathalyzers.
Breathalyzers.
Like, really?
So I think...
How's that engineering related?
You're talking to me about how is that engineering related with some of our topics?
Yeah,
it is. There's a lot of
kind
of science that goes
into
it.
Stretch, I guess.
I thought that the how do you beat it or is it possible stuff, which you can't, was pretty interesting, but meh, it wasn't that good. I'll agree with that. So my number 4, fishing. Everything fishing, like rods and reels and who knows what. And now Dave fishes and knows something about it, I guess. I mean, he doesn't fish a lot.
That's my number 2.
Well. Oh,
That's
it's
my number 2. So we're definitely in agreement on fishing.
I don't fish.
I like fishing.
Yeah.
I don't fish, but I used to, and I like it. I want to get back into it, but yeah.
Yeah, it just wasn't that good. And since neither of us were super into fishing, it's hard to do.
My number 3. Again, dogging on some of your old stuff. This is your episode 13, Haunted Houses, which I'm sure you loved.
I did like haunted houses.
Sure you did.
Do you ever go to like Scare House in Pittsburgh? Shout out.
So I'm afraid of haunted houses.
Oh, well, this isn't fair. Then just because you're a pansy doesn't make it a bad episode.
I had a really bad experience as a young child at a haunted house. Someone told one of the clowns, and I hate clowns, like I have a phobia of clowns, told a clown what my name was at the beginning of the haunted house.
No.
And this clown proceeded at like age 9 to follow me around the haunted house, screaming my name and chasing me. Horrific.
That makes me happy that happened to you. That's really funny. So I liked haunted houses. I think like spooky haunted houses, like Halloween time ones, are crazy and they are they're very creative with the ways they come up with what they do. But then if you think of a big part of it was the Haunted Mansion in Disney, the tech that goes into that is nuts. Even at that, it's like old tricks, new technology, all sorts of cool things. Plus, that's one of my favorite rides there. It was cool. Number 2, winter tires for me. Yeah, internet tire.
And my tires. 2 is fishing rods, so we're on the same page. And my number 1.
Hold on, how about honorable mentions? Do you have any honorable mentions?
No, I don't.
Let me throw out a few. Number 11, how volcanoes work. It was okay, but I mean, again, how much engineering is that? Geology, maybe. Number 12, how Levi's are made. I think it's okay, other than it was like he stole it, and so now I don't have any respect for the dude. And
the fact that you pay so much for a piece of denim.
Yeah. Number 13, and this makes me feel bad saying it, Math Behind Santa. It was, you know how sometimes we search
But
stuff
you were
and it's
so
like there
excited
wasn't.
about that one.
I was, and then we Googled it, and
there
it was
wasn't.
like, here's the same article 400 times.
Yeah.
Stretch it into a half hour.
Yeah, that was a bit
14,
tough.
James Dyson made me sad,
Yeah.
and helmets was on my list as well.
Yeah, helmets. I would say helmets is an honorable mention for me. My number one is Carney Games, like I said before.
Carney
so,
Games.
Yeah, but that can't be on our top
Games.
10 worst. You're the worst list.
My number one was Internet of Things.
Oh yeah,
I
that
mean,
was.
IoT was so boring.
Well,
it's like, I know why, but
We had one of our
I know.
coworkers kind of persuade us to do that for him, and it was just. I think
K-Rob.
it was too related to work.
Yeah, I think that was probably a lot of it, that it was too related to work, and that for our level of information, it's probably too much.
Yeah.
You know? Let's see here. So our top 10, we have medical imaging, we have gas versus electric, deep sea, winter tires, fishing, and IoT. I have those pegged as must-haves.
I agree with all of those.
So how about, what else do you have in
Shipping containers, I'm okay
here? I'm
adding.
good with
and breathalyzer.
breathalyzers and shipping containers.
So what do we got?
So we got two more. We can have jacked up trucks,
You
engines,
can't do
electric
trucks.
cars, right? Because it was on yours. Supercars, not haunted house.
Supercars and
Supercars
electric cars.
and electric cars. All
Because
right.
we do bad with the cars.
And for anyone who wants the full lists, when I post this, I'll put it on our webpage. You can check out all of our You're the Worst picks.
At unprofessionalengineering.com.
Remember to, that was good job. Good
You like
plug.
that?
Yeah. Remember to email us at unprofessionalengineering@gmail.com and let us know what your top and bottom videos were. All right. Whew.
What are we going to do next, James?
Do you want me to actually run through the actual You're the Worsts and the Bests?
Yeah, I think, and let's start with a You're the Worst,
Yeah.
since we just finished that.
Okay, starting with number 10. And I have a little asterisk here. These are slightly skewed because I didn't think it was fair to claim a video that's only been out for like 4 weeks
Okay.
as the worst.
So these are number of views
Number of views.
down to the lowest.
Yep. So the last one I mentioned will be the worst.
Okay.
Radio is bad.
Yeah.
Carney Games is bad. It's funny what matches up here. Gas versus electric is bad.
Okay.
Winter tires.
Oh,
Medical imaging.
Oh.
Helmets. Pinewood Derby.
really? Pinewood Derby's in the bottom?
Yeah, not our sweet spot, I guess. Deep sea exploration.
Okay, yep.
Stem cells.
Really? That surprises me.
And this
too.
one really surprises me is fireworks.
And that's been around a while
It's
for you
it's
guys.
a very old episode, and it's really interesting the way they change the colors, the way they make the shapes.
Some of those surprise me and some of those don't.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Okay.
Want the top 10?
Top 10.
All right, so the 10th most listened to is a tie between AI and robotics and medieval torture devices.
I could see that.
Those are good. Number 9, the math behind Santa.
Really?
Yeah, how about that?
Okay.
See, so people do like a
Yeah.
little bit of fun. You'll see that through these.
I also think that whenever we do like a trending topic, like we did that right around Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
and or if we pick something that's in the news, I think those tend to do better for short periods of time.
Yeah. 8, how it's made. Toys Part 2.
I get that.
7, Roads. Roads was, I think, our
Roads?
first episode, so I think it's gotten just
Okay.
over time. It's
Okay.
gotten up there. It's kind of neat, the history. 6, Hoover Dam.
I could see that.
Number 5 blows my mind. I can't believe it. James Dyson. It's the highest of our inventor series. I can only be because he's from not America, right?
Yeah, I have no idea because
I
I
don't
don't
know how
remember
that's
putting a lot of
popular.
effort into that episode.
It was just stupid. I don't know how he's made billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Best engineering of 2017 is number 4.
I could see
thought
that.
That
one.
was a good one as well.
That was a really good episode.
Building the perfect CAD or gamer PC with our friend Neil Cross.
Yeah,
was up there. And
Now the reason that's
of
up there
course,
is
of course.
because Neil, our good friend, I'm sure that his audience really blew that up whenever
Yeah.
he posted about it. So that might be skewed a bit.
That's a little skewed. Now, these top 2, I think, are very interesting and a good fit. Number 2, the history of English versus metric.
That was a good one.
It's a good topic. It was very cool, and people just seem to love that one. And number 1,
Drum roll.
of course, How It's Made, Toys Part 1.
Nice.
Yeah.
That one doesn't surprise me at all. Those
Yeah.
are some of our best, I think.
I thought those were some really good ones. Obviously, other people do as well.
Okay.
All right, so moving on. How about, hard to believe, things we've gotten wrong through time?
I'm guessing there's one.
I don't know if there's even that many.
Maybe James, it's a mispronunciation of someone's last name because you are our official unprofessional engineering pronouncer.
No one's ever written in to tell me that I've done that wrong, and we know I have.
Like,
Basically, listen to any episode, and that's done.
you say my name wrong sometimes. So, yeah, you are the worst pronouncer. And the fact that no one has called you out on that.
Yeah. How about this? Episode 66, Supercars. Someone got called out. At 220, you called the VW Rabbit a rear-engine car. That was the original VW Beetle, stupid. The new Beetles have the engine in the front, as did the Rabbit.
Thanks, Jimmy F.
Yeah, one of our super fans right there. So he definitely told you were wrong. Now, episode 61, Alexander Graham Bell. Remember doing that one?
It can't be me again.
Well, this one isn't so much a you got it wrong, but you forgot some of the details. And it's just kind of
That's
fun.
very unlike us to forget details.
I was shocked when I read this. Shocked and appalled. You forgot to mention that James Garfield's doctor was Doctor, which is pretty interesting. I don't even remember reading that either.
I don't either.
The book Destiny of the Republic gives more insight into Bell's use of his metal detector. Remember the bullet
I do.
Trying to save Garfield? Doctor only let him use the metal detector over half of Garfield's body. So when the metal detector failed to detect the bullet, Bell was dejected. But in Garfield's autopsy, the bullet was found to be in the other side of the body. So that's unfortunate. Crazy story. Doctor also didn't believe in germs, which seems to be a prevalent belief by American doctors at the time.
So we're just assuming that Jeff S. is not making this up.
If you made that up, good job, Jeff.
Because I totally believe it.
I'm sold.
Yeah.
Doctor didn't believe in germs.
Doctor. Okay, I'm down. I'm okay with that
How
one.
could you make that up?
I'm okay with that one.
Okay. Oh, episode 35.
This one hurt a little
Pinewood
bit
Derby.
because I felt like you and I and Jeffrey put a lot of effort into this one. I mean, we made cars, we effort, time outside of work.
We did make cars and paint them.
I mean, we really put some, like, you baked yours, I think. Didn't you
I-
put your
I
car
did
in an
bake
oven to
mine.
do something about moisture
Yeah,
content?
I did bake mine.
Okay, let's see what he
So
had to say
it
about
hurt. You're right. That did hurt a little bit. But Andrew A. wrote in and nicely said that we're wrong. He says, I really enjoyed the episode since I race Pinewood Derby cars in leagues, and I do a podcast dedicated to league racing. If anyone's interested, it's the Zebzob podcast. ZEEBZOB. Episode 73
It's pretty good.
is the one that covers our episode. He basically recaps our episode in his.
It talks about everything wrong that we did.
So he has a bunch of stuff that goes on in the email about tips that he provided and whatnot. But you're right. He basically just he'll read off what we said or play what we said
Like,
and then
"It's
be
okay."
like, yeah, if you're like building your 4-year-old's car for Boy Scouts, I guess
Yeah.
that's okay. Like
Yeah.
baking the car, he said, like, yeah. And then he talks about all the expensive tools and how much they spend on it. He certainly didn't say that we're the worst.
He
But
didn't.
he did say that there were other tips and maybe things that we maybe skewed a little bit.
And I think so the way I took it is we were above average. So we were above a
always say that.
typical dad making a pine car with his child. We're above that step.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so this is a big one. Episode 86, Submarines. One of our good
don't remember you
friends
telling me
wrote
about
in
this
about
one.
this.
Okay.
And first off, he and another guy, so JT and Troy A, both wrote in letting us know that submarine sandwiches are called grinders in New England, the cultural origin of the U.S. and the center of the known universe, if that's accurate.
Don't
They
think it
also
is.
apparently call them grinders in Michigan. And I think we were saying that you're stupid if you call them a grinder, because let's be fair.
Yeah.
You are. So anyways, but on to actual submarines. So JT has worked a ton with the submarines.
Oh, this
So
is
I did a
boy
little
JT.
bit. Yes.
Oh, I didn't get the JT reference.
Not
Okay.
JT. J as a name, T as the last initial.
Because we're protecting
We're
people.
protecting their identities.
They're all in witness protection.
Nobody wants to be associated with this.
Okay.
So he writes in, this is a little bit long, not too surprising. This one was particularly close to my heart as I worked as a design engineer in the R&D department for the U.S. Naval Undersea Warfare Center in New London for almost 12 years. A couple of things. That's never good.
No.
First of all, the primary assembly of the Virginia-class boats is done by both General Dynamics Electric Boats, which we said, and Newport News Shipbuilding. I think we kind of made it sound like they just build the boats.
Yeah.
Well, where in reality, each of the yards specializes in specific hull segments, engineering, reactor, crew, weapons, whatever, and the segments are shipped back and forth between the 2 yards so that each one can proceed with construction. So we kind of missed that.
Okay.
We also kind of missed that the largest sub in the U.S. fleet, both by displacement and physical size, is the Ohio class at 560 feet long, the Virginia class at 377.
Okay.
So a few numbers were wrong. And last but not least,
More?
well, this one's calling me out in particular, so you'll like that.
Yes.
The independently targeted reentry vehicles that you were describing, James, are used only on the Trident ballistic missiles, and those are nuclear warheads. The guidance systems used on them are extremely accurate. I thought this was really cool. And it can place each of the 8 to 12 warheads on each missile within a 300-foot circle. So that's pretty cool.
Duh. Doesn't
At a range,
everybody know
at a
that,
range of
James?
almost 8,000 nautical miles.
The fact that you didn't know that is amazing to me. That's like common knowledge.
I'm so stupid. Yeah. So thanks, Jay, for calling me out in particular. A couple more. Considering it's 100 episodes,
Yeah, I feel
not
pretty
really
good so
all
far.
that bad,
And
right?
I think a lot of these are nuances.
Nuances, yes. Yeah, we'll go with that. History of CAD, episode 49. Again, not really we got it wrong, but we got a message saying, I'm a civil engineer.
That's a problem right there.
I know,
Just
that's
saying.
where I already lose a little faith. And I've either used AutoCAD or MicroStation for construction projects. I'm surprised MicroStation isn't used as much in your field, mechanical manufacturing, as Bentley has a big stronghold on civil, which we did not mention. So maybe we should have given our civil friends a little more love, which hurts for me even to say. Because come on.
It does.
Okay, I think this was from one of my blog posts back when I actually wrote blog posts
Okay.
about Kickstarter. That one actually did pretty well. He said, I would add, don't forget intellectual property protection. Get a good IP lawyer if you have a great idea. Supposedly, Kickstarter is regularly trolled for new product ideas from larger companies, both domestic and abroad.
I feel like if you're on Kickstarter, you probably can't afford an intellectual property lawyer on retainer.
Boom.
Just saying.
Thank you. That's like refuting. That was good. Now, episode 10. This is a James one. Hoover Dam. I call turbines roughly 87 times throughout the entire episode. So as the water flows through the dam, it hits turbines, and apparently those turbines are what create the power.
Wow,
So
who knew the turbines did that?
I know. And I like every time it was like, oh no.
Now, was it a mispronunciation?
It was a
or- and you
mispronunciation. I
kept
just kept doing it though.
doing it? Like
Yep.
if I go and listen to it now, I'll notice it.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'll have to check
Maybe
it
I'll
out.
play a clip of that here.
Okay.
Episode 70, cryptocurrency. That was a tough one too.
Yeah, I hate. You know what? That should have been in our top 10.
Well, it
or
wasn't.
our that should have been in You're the Worst.
It isn't the number of solves that doubles. It's the reward of bitcoins that is halved, going from 25 to 12 and a half, and so on. Something of that sort. And that's it. That's all we got wrong in 100 episodes.
I feel pretty. And again, I feel like we could dispute some of those.
Yeah, I do
Just
too.
saying.
Yeah. And maybe half of them were not things we got wrong, just maybe more information we probably could have or should have provided,
Exactly.
which Clark tells us every episode. He falls in the 2-star review, you should be doing my thesis for me category of listener, you know? It hurts.
Okay.
Cuts me deep.
Okay. So what are we doing next, James?
Well, I was thinking about highlights that we had throughout the year.
Okay. So
Years.
I'm gonna go through all. How many? So when do you have the timeline? We'll have to look at that. Like when you started, when I came in, and now this episode. We'll
So
to
if
get a
we
little
have
time.
100 episodes, we're at least into 2-year mark now. Isn't that crazy?
It's amazing.
Highlights, what do you have?
Okay,
Anything
so
cool?
I'm just going to run through all of mine if you're okay, and then you can do
I would
yours.
love it.
rather
I'll
than
just
the back
add
and
in.
forth. So, and these are in no particular order. So one of the very first interviews we did was with Neil Cross. And Neil is a good friend. He does so much amazing stuff for the CAD and engineering and design community with his YouTube videos, tips and tricks and education and all that. And it was just really cool to have him on. He was also across the pond. That was one of my big highlights. AU 2017 last year. We're going again this year for AU 2018, but we got to interview a bunch of customers, a bunch of executives at Autodesk, and I thought that was a really nice platform for us to really talk about the kinds of things that I think engineers find interesting in kind of a different format. So I thought that was pretty cool. Broadcasting from MIT was amazing. The fact that,
loved that.
The fact that there were like groups of students on tours walking by, like watching what we were doing, wondering what was going on.
That was really funny. Like just like looking like, is this what happens here? Yeah. And then like, I would say maybe security people being like, what are you guys doing here? Because you clearly don't belong on this campus.
And we got to ride bikes around Boston.
I thought that was
pretty cool.
Yeah.
So our buddy that sent in the Canadian food, that was so much fun doing our taste test. And we didn't do a podcast about it, but we do have, if you check out our YouTube channel, we did a video of you and I tasting these Canadian potato chips and snack foods. It was a ton of fun, and I love getting free stuff. Pine car, I loved making a pine car. The whole 3D printing.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah, the racing was great.
It was a lot of effort, but it was fun.
Yeah.
And then my last one, and this is probably my biggest highlight because I feel like this might be my legacy.
Your legacy.
The fact that You're the Worst is trending in Ireland. So if you missed the episode, we had someone write in from Ireland. I don't recall his name off the top of my head, but he wrote in. Later. He said that he loves listening to us. He loves the "You're the Worst" comment, which some people complained about I was doing too much. I've backed off of it a lot.
Except this episode, we've been laying it on.
But he said he's starting to use it in Ireland. So I feel like when I visit Ireland next year, basically everybody's going to be saying You're the Worst.
I can only imagine.
It's my legacy.
Yeah, well, very good. You're going to
Those
Ireland
are my
next year?
Maybe. We're thinking about it.
Oh, cool. All right. So I have a lot of the same as you. All the Canadian goodies from JP. That was so awesome. Met him at AU. That was great. The podcast live from MIT, mostly because we got to ride bikes around Boston, which was pretty much the highlight of the year. People loving the T-shirts at AU. The T-shirts are pretty sweet.
Are we going to do new ones this year?
I think so.
Are we going to get a different design?
Yeah.
Update
it's like
the design?
A series,
okay.
you know?
Okay.
I think so. So we'll have to start working on that.
Put years on them. So that they're like collector's
items. Yes, okay. That is brilliant. Maybe we need more this year.
I am so smart.
Let's see here. Oh, I did want to make a point that we have the video of eating Canadian goodies. Mm-hmm. It's on YouTube, and I've actually started putting our episodes back on YouTube again.
Just with a static image.
Just with a static image, yeah. Mostly because one of my friends only listens to them on YouTube, so I was like, fine. Let's see. Oh, me stealing the king cake that Adam from CAD Noobs sent us and eating the whole thing with my wife.
I am still mad about the king cake. I was hoping that you were going to choke on whatever they put in the cake, like the chest piece or the baby or whatever goes into a king cake.
So my number one highlight, and really not in any order, but the one that really blows my mind, was being named in the new and noteworthy section of iTunes. And I'm sure they pick a lot of podcasts for that kind of stuff, and it depends on your artwork and blah, blah, blah. So
I have another highlight. Great. I have another work-related highlight.
Oh, dear.
So we always do an AU recap. So James and I work for Autodesk.
That's right.
One of our senior executives was asked about what was some of the great things that happened at Autodesk University 2017. And Lisa, our boss's boss, called us out and said the interview that I did with the guys at Unprofessional Engineering, and she looked in the audience for us because she thought we worked in San Francisco.
We're San Fran
based.
Which
is okay. I get she doesn't know where everybody works in the company, but the fact that we got called out as one of her highlights of AU 2017, I thought was really fun.
That was really cool, and that did then make us be forced to do it again this year.
Yeah,
I straight up wasn't even planning on it, and then they were like,
though.
So you're going, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Super excited.
Looking forward to it. Hopefully we make more super fans like we did last year.
Yeah.
So that's all the highlights I had as well.
So what are we going to do? Are we going to show people? Are we going to pull back the curtain now, James, and show people the intricate process that you and I go through for topic selection, or do we want to do shout outs and do topic selection last? I'll let you choose. Because I know you wanted to do some shout outs.
I have so many shout outs. Let's end strong on the shout outs.
Okay,
let's go through picking the next episode. And for everyone that's listening, this is not fair because I'll admit I usually come with 1 out of 10 ideas. Like every 10 ideas Luke brings, I bring 1. And since I had extra time to think about it, I have extras. So let's fight through this.
Okay, so the process usually happens just to kind of, again, expose the level of detail and effort we put into this.
Behind the curtain here.
Behind the curtain. So usually on Monday, James sends me a note and says, yo, why do you hate me? I miss you. And
That's
then
true.
we usually end up chatting for about 20 minutes. And he says, so what do you want to talk about? And I basically come up with all of the ideas. You poo-poo 4 or 5 of them, and then I have a good one that you're moderately okay
I mean,
with.
Good might be a stretch, but yes, this is
process.
accurate.
That's the process
That
right
is
now.
the process.
So, so here's mine. So my first one that we're going to discuss, I think the evolution of running shoes. And that's the noise you always make. I feel like that's disdain in your voice right now.
My wife hates that noise.
It's like,
So that's okay because we could talk about 3D printing.
and then like running shoes literally were like flat pieces of rubber with
And like the Olympic running shoes, people, that could be okay, maybe. That could be like a back burner one.
the amount you spend for running shoes, I think that it'd be dumb not to do. I feel like that's a really good one.
Next.
Oh, so I'm just going to come up with all the
Just
ideas
start with,
again.
yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
so
we wanted to make it realistic.
I think
here.
we should do a gas versus diesel.
No, we just said the worst episode in the world was gas versus electric.
Okay, no, but this is different. This is different.
Gas versus slightly different gas.
No, the reason why I think gas versus diesel is good is because why is diesel not more popular? Number one,
In the UK, it is.
I
Isn't
know.
it?
Yeah, I know it. I know it's relatively dirty, or at least diesel used to be very unclean and the pollution thing. But you get better gas mileage. The engines run forever. They're more efficient. They're more powerful. I just don't know why we haven't embraced diesel engines in the United States.
Now we get into the whole we don't actually know anything about engines thing, and
Okay.
yeah,
Okay,
it's
whatever.
not super.
Okay,
how about the channel? I throw out the channel every time.
Every single time James and I are doing our topic brainstorm, he brings up the channel because he did this. They
It's the
lost
lost
the episode.
episode.
It's the Unprofessional Engineering lost episode, and you basically have to do no research.
Exactly. It makes it beautiful. So that's out still. Okay, how about this one though? This was right in from one of our listeners.
That doesn't count as your idea.
Well, this is still how I get my ideas.
Okay.
The transatlantic tunnel. There's a plan, or I guess a theory or a wish to have this transatlantic tunnel, which is basically the channel, but through the Atlantic.
So basically, it's let's put a tunnel underwater. Done.
Yes, and how to do it. But to make you feel better, the person also sent in a 48-minute video along with it. So your research is already done. Yeah,
Because I do a lot of video watching.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So put that one on the maybe
Okay.
pile. What else do you got?
I got why did Betamax die?
What's that, like a VCR thing?
Oh my goodness, I forgot how young you are. So back whenever I was a child, there was VHS and Betamax was higher quality, and it was a better format. It was physically bigger than a VHS tape, but VHS won, and then VHS died, and then it turned into DVDs and whatnot. But Betamax technically should have won that contest. And why did it lose? There's a whole bunch of political stuff and different brands.
One of the topics we can't mention. So the adult film industry influences those decisions a lot.
Does?
At least with DVD or HD. What was it? The HD DVD
don't
versus
wanna-
Blu-ray?
I don't want to know why you know that.
Well, it's just
Okay, and then
knowledge.
my last one is
Hold on,
fish.
hold on,
oh,
okay.
sorry.
No, go ahead,
My last
go
one is
ahead.
fish farming.
What's the engineering behind that one?
Well, because like number one, currently fish farming is pretty dirty. Like the fish are sick, and there's mercury issues, and there's some ecological impact that happens with fish farming. And what are the new and
fish.
different ways? I love fish.
So gross.
So yeah, it's the whole idea of what we're currently doing, what we're doing in the
That's
future.
terrible.
And I saw this
That
awesome
one's
video
terrible.
where they put these domes underwater, like offshore, and they grow fish in these giant
We
domes.
literally talked about this.
We did.
Oh, we were talking about the veggies that they grow on.
Yeah, but we do the same thing with fishes.
Okay, that's great.
So none of my stuff works.
George Washington Carver as a great inventor that someone wrote in.
Interesting.
One of our super fans.
Interesting fact about that. He was the originator of the Carver sandwich from Boston Market.
Really?
I have no idea.
Oh, you pulled a James on me. Oh, fun fact.
The Carver sandwich.
So if I were to rank these, I would say the ones we'd even possibly do would be The Evolution of the Running Shoe,
I like that.
Transatlantic, and George Washington Carver. I feel like that's the top 3 list.
So why don't we do running shoes the next time when I get back from vacation?
Another vacation. Okay. Running shoes it is.
Running shoes it is.
Deal?
Deal.
Episode 101.
Episode 101.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. So we had mentioned people we'd like to interview. Do we want to do that?
Yeah. Well, you know what?
Do you have that?
Yeah, I
You have
do.
it written
I
down?
do.
Real
So,
quick, like. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Who do you
So
want?
I have 4.
Hey, me too.
Adam Savage. I just
Ooh,
think what the guy's
good
done.
one.
I just thought what the guy's done for the maker movement. I loved Mythbusters. Say that 10 times real fast. He's a funny guy. He's pretty cool. He wears a fedora a lot.
He does.
So Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I think that would be interesting.
I like him because he's crazy smart, and you can tell. He's super funny. And I feel like he speaks in a way that like anybody, even if you're not an astronomer or physicist or whatever he happens to be, can understand.
I feel like him and Bill Nye, and they do like those
So Bill
commercials
Nye's the
together
word.
a lot.
I think we agreed we don't like Bill Nye.
Well, I was going to say that they both kind of do the smart thing and dumb it down, kind of
Yeah.
like us. We're really smart.
But we
But
make
we're
common man,
we're Neil deGrasse Tyson smart,
and we just
and we just
break it down.
right. We're that smart that
For
we
the
can break
common
it down
folk.
for you common folk out there, right?
Nikola Tesla.
You know he's dead, right?
He's dead, but he's Croatian, and I'm Croatian, and basically,
you can't interview him. He's dead.
it's my dream interview.
Okay.
And then finally, he's a super fan of the show. Surprised
He is.
surprised he hasn't been on. We talk about him all the time.
I'm waiting to hear back from him.
Elon Musk.
Yeah.
And if there's any way, I want to get a grassroots movement, James, with our listeners via Twitter and we know Elon is big on the tweets. I think we need our power listeners and our super fans to suggest that Elon come on the show and be interviewed.
I agree with that one.
How amazing would that
Let's
be?
all get together and just start pounding his Twitter account with unprofessional engineering requests. And boom. Not only will he be an amazing interview, but then we'll retire. I have him on my list.
I feel like we could get arrested for that, though.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Jeff Bezos, Amazon man.
The Bezos.
I want to talk to him about coming to Pittsburgh, and I want to talk about
Look at you, keeping it Pittsburgh proud.
right and how do you do Amazon,
And he's doing a space thing,
and
too.
why do you make all of us move to Seattle if we want to work for you?
Yeah.
So let's not do
He's
that.
the worst.
Next, Sir Richard Branson.
The
I think
Bransons?
this guy's just probably no. I don't want to slander him. So he's just a lunatic. He's just
Yeah.
so crazy, but he has to, like, he knows business. And I want to actually understand, how much does he know about technology? Or does he just have so much money that he's like, here, people, go send me to the moon?
I think like he's like Elon Musk, but without an engineering background.
Right. That's
like,
what I'm
it's
thinking.
all flamboyant money and
Right.
yeah, that's yeah.
I think it would be
Which
interesting.
I think is cool.
I think it would be interesting.
Be very interesting.
And then my last interview that I want, our good friend James Dyson. After seeing that people actually are interested in this, I want to know how he convinced people to stop buying vacuum bags and start spending $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, all this money on stupid vacuum
They're
cleaners
so dirty. Every
and
time
that stupid robot.
every single time, and the hand air dryer. Basically,
that's the
It
worst.
just
Oh, the
splashes
blade?
germs
Oh,
everywhere.
so gross.
The worst.
I want to know how he made it happen.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that's it, other than our final round of shout outs.
So this is going to be just a rapid fire.
Rapid
shout-outs.
fire. I want to give a shout out to basically anyone who's ever written in, our super fans, everyone else. I hope I didn't miss anyone, but I'm sure I did. Don't be offended if so.
If we did our 200th episode, we'll call it out as an error.
Maybe 250.
250.
We'll see.
Okay, let's hear 'em.
Super fans. Rachel K, I'm giving her a little extra shout out because she just wrote in, and she's actually an English major, and she's giving up on her dream of being a best-selling author, all because she listens to Unprofessional Engineering.
Genius idea.
And so now she's going back for engineering, and I think electrical is her plan. So Rachel K, good for
she
you.
will make a lot of money compared to an English major.
Compared to not selling books.
Exactly.
Good job.
Good idea.
Shane and his family just wrote in. We also have James K, Derek V, John E, Pamela and Jacob, John
That was
Jr.
the mom and the kid, right?
It was.
They were the best.
John Jr., Jeff S., Katrina N., William B., Mallory P., Chris C., Jim F., This is like looking for your name in the credits, you know?
Yeah.
John A, Daryl P, Arnaud G, and the Irish fanboys. That's your boy that got You're the Worst going.
Nice.
Bob W, Tommy O, Dan I, Nick M, Ben Y, Nicole W, David S, Jake S, unrelated, I think, Michael E, Jeff J, J, get it?
I see what you did there.
Carol P, Ivan B, Jeff H, Pete M, Joe F, Amy E, Claudio C, Evan S, Jeremy G, John E, David V, JCC, Sam L, Andrew A, Paul R, Joe F, William S with his giant beard. Remember him from AU?
yeah, he
The
was the
bearded
best.
guy? Oh, he was cool. Ted D, Trevor T, Emmanuel O, Dustin L, and Worst Foot Forward are co-advertising friends.
Yeah.
I also have a list of super fans.
So these are the folks that have engaged like more than once.
They write in a lot.
Yeah.
They send us snacks to
They're
eat.
well, other than the snacks, they're the worst.
They're our friends. Yeah. Steve F, who was actually the first shout out on a show, which is pretty good. Steve, I don't think I've heard from you for a while. JT, Neil C, Troy A, Andrew P, JP and his Canadian snacks. Scott F, who just got married and was sporting the Unprofessional Engineering shirt at the after party.
No, he was
He
not.
absolutely
You have a
was.
picture?
I know. I did.
Oh my goodness.
Adam H and the Cad Noobs. Andy F, who has done all of our artwork for us.
Thank you, Andy.
Pete and Andrea G, who think about me in the shower. Long story.
That's weird.
Clark B and Jimbo, who has a surprise coming for our listeners as he listens to each episode over again.
Oh, this
So
is
this
the
is
he's
don't
putting
don't
that list together
yeah,
for us.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that's
it's
going to be
awesome.
exciting.
So I'm sure I missed some of our fans and super fans. I'm so sorry, but you know.
Be a little more
email
be
me
a little
again.
more persistent. Yeah, yeah. Be
All right.
persistent. Don't give up.
So hopefully everybody loved our recap. This was really an episode for us, not
This was
you.
fun. This
and it was a lot of fun.
I enjoyed this
Looking back on all the things we've done over time. It's
one.
been fun.
I like this one.
All right. Well, I guess that's probably all we have.
Here's to another 100 episodes,
100
James.
episodes. All right. Until next 100.
See ya.